of everyone affected by bleeding disorder or a chronic disease. I know that many of us in here often wonder if what we learn in class can actually be applied to the real world, and if what we're learning is just to get a grade, or if it's just to meet some standards. Well, this is a situation where the 6-step process was extremely effective and powerful. On Tuesday, when we left for our flight, I was sitting on a plane, and next to me was one of the other advocates who was supposedly the president of a speech club at U of A. Well, I started talking to him because I thought it was great. I'll be able to learn a lot from him, seeing that he was a president. I showed him what I was learning in class, and when he saw this 6-step process, he was like, oh, that's bullshit. You don't need that at all. You just speak from the heart, you tell them whatever you want, and from there, everything will be all cherry. Well, anyone would be kind of discouraged by that. I certainly was. And I was like, well, you know what? I'll do my best. I'll see if I can come up with something else and see how it goes from there. On Wednesday, we actually had a training day. And it was important because we didn't really know what we were going to be speaking about until Wednesday, because that is the closest day to Thursday when we were going to be speaking with these people. So we had the most up-to-date information presented right in front of us. Well, because it was on a Wednesday, I actually had to develop a speech and write a speech and remember a speech in about 2 hours of the final night before we went to bed and woke up the next day on Thursday. I knew what this kid had said about the 6-step process being bullshit, but it was what I had, it was what I knew right here, right now, and even if it sucked, I was still going to use it because it was what I knew. So on Thursday, we wake up, I have a speech prepared, and like I said, I spoke with 3 representatives and Senator Jeff Flake about this. We were blatantly told Wednesday night that the average meeting is about 15 minutes long, no matter what. It's 15 minutes or less. And when I was going to speak with these people, that's what I was expecting. I spoke with, like I said, 3 representatives and Senator Jeff Flake. So 4 people representing the state of Arizona. 3 out of the 4 meetings that I was in lasted over half an hour. And I was told constantly by leaders of this trip that was unprecedented to even have 1 half-hour conversation. It's never happened before. Not on their level. I don't know if it's happened for other communities, but for the bleeding disorder community, it's never happened. And I was part of 3 out of the 4 of them. I'm not going to take credit for all of that, but I was still there for the only 3 meetings out of the entire National Hemophilia Foundation. So there was 48 states that were speaking with all of their state legislators. I was a part of the only 3 that lasted over half an hour. And a large part of that is because I also helped teach some of the other kids that were with me this 6-step process really quick. This was real. And for comparison, this kid that was the president at U of A, I heard some of his speeches. He was very passionate, but he was all over the place. This 6-step process gives you a palette in which you can basically go, all right, I'm going into my excite step. Boom, 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 done. Now I'm going into my launch step. Boom, 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 done. Now I'm going into my relate step. Boom, 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 done. Main points. Boom, 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 done. Reiterate step, done. And then energize step, I'm finished with this speech. It gives you a way in which you can be highly organized, highly effective, and the people that are listening to you will be very, very receptive to what you have to say. They were wanting to talk to me mostly, and I was in a room of 10 other people most of the time. I led each conversation. And one of the other things, too, is having props is important, because nothing can really impact someone like showing a picture of your mom in the ICU or showing a bag of medicine that costs $250,000. When you walk up to a senator and you're showing him this, all of a sudden you're the man in the room and he's sitting in that chair. They will listen to you. So this 6-step process is extremely effective. It's extremely powerful, and it is 100% real. I don't think that there's another process out there right now that I would feel as comfortable using as I do with this 6-step process. Because of this 6-step process, I may actually be going back to Washington, D.C., being paid to go back to Washington, D.C. for 10 weeks this summer. And I'm also going to be an advocate at the state level as well. So it not only was it extremely effective, but it gave me a lot of opportunity in continuing my advancement and being an advocate for a community that impacts my family and impacts my life. So that's pretty much all I have. And by the way, I also used the 6-step process when I gave this speech.
Nice.
So